Up next is the Asuka versus Ember Moon match, which has been highly anticipated ever since Ember Moon really debuted, because ever since we saw the Eclipse, everybody's like, oh, what?
That's like my favorite finisher in NXT right now.
With this match, it had a good bit of hype. Like, the build-ups are cool. Asuka, I love her character where she's like, nobody can beat me. I'm Asuka. Which, I do like that character. Even on the main roster, that character works. I love that character. I mean, it can be overdone, but she just does it enough because she's undefeated for a year almost now. I think it's
a year today when we're filming, because I think Takeover was the second last year.
Yeah, because they mentioned...
Yeah.
This match, unfortunately, it was okay. I think it was probably...
I liked it more than you did.
I like on me, it's the fourth best match, because... Like, Ember looked like a strong contender, and then she was gonna, oh god, if she hits that Eclipse, she kept setting up for it, and Asuka kept countering it. And this is, I know they say this all the time, but this is one of the very few times, at least recent, that Asuka looked like on the ropes, especially in the beginning. Obviously the one with the Fatal 4-Way, she just got beat up. So.
Yeah, they kind of ganged up on her, but,
Which this was the first time one-on-one that Asuka looked like she could lose, which is good for Ember Moon. So you can extend that feud through SummerSlam, and you can extend that through, feud, even if you want to, till the next one. Eventually it's going to get old, but you have these guys go at it, and you build this, it's a long booking build, and then Ember Moon finally crowns the Empress, which I like that. Her cross body where she jumped up onto the second rope and then cleared the top rope was actually really cool. And I did like that spot. Ember Moon, in my opinion, had way better spots than Asuka did.
Yeah, they did a really good job of putting Ember Moon over while Asuka still looked like Asuka. I liked the fact that Asuka, especially at the end, because really there were a lot of kicks. There was a lot of the typical, she kept trying to get Ember Moon in the Asuka lock and not working. Ember Moon kept trying to set up the Eclipse. They showed, to me, it was a nice bit of ring psychology where Asuka knew that Ember Moon was setting her up for the Eclipse and kept doing stuff. And then at the end, I don't know if she turned heel or if she just did a heelish thing, because she's always had a heelish tendency. She's always just kind of, skirted that fine line between face and heel. But then she uses the ref. She kind of cheats to win, because, the idea there being, I need to do something here to keep my belt. She pushes the ref in front of Ember Moon and then, sets her up. Yeah. And then retains her title. I think this is if they're going to keep Asuka in NXT for a while, like they've been talking about, right now you really just have Ember Moon and Asuka. So and Ember Moon's a face. You need the heel. If you're going to turn Asuka heel, this would have been the time, or this is the moment that started the heel turn. I'm fine with that. I really thought she should have turned heel against Bayley. And she showed signs against Bayley that she was heel, because she was playing the heel in that match while not being the heel. So I think she'd make a fine heel. And I think you're going to see her and Ember Moon go at it again before they throw Nikki Cross into the mix at some point soon.
I just think with turning Asuka heel, I have the fear that she'll have the AJ Styles syndrome where they just cheer her anyway.
Well, yeah, but the NXT crowds kind of always do that.
Right.
So, Samoa Joe used to get, good pops. He'd get the initial boo that you're supposed to, and then the crowd would go into appreciation mode.
Yeah, my fear is that they're going to Styles her, and he comes out and cheers her.
Yeah.
Which is probably what they're going to do, because Asuka is the most over women.
Yeah, you need to give Ember Moon some more personality. Some more time to develop her character, other than just being big-eyed and screaming and really good in the ring. So I liked the match more than you did. I think I watched the ring psychology behind it and appreciated it, but it wasn't the highlight of the night, which I kind of was hoping that they would steal the show, because then that would mean that we had two matches that were up here, because I knew the tag match was going to be awesome. Yeah. Because Revival.
DIY.
Yeah, exactly. Anytime they're in a match. Couple of side notes. Showed somebody in the crowd that I pretty much lost my shit over. That Drew McIntyre was in the crowd. I'm sorry, Drew Galloway. Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. McIntyre.
But yeah, Drew McIntyre in the crowd. They name dropped him.
Yep.
And then word leaked this morning that he at least tentatively is signed to WWE, which is great. I would love to see them put him in NXT because now, while you're building up Eric Young and possibly Cassius Ohno, you have someone who can automatically get into a feud with Rude, and that would be exciting. Cause I wasn't the world's biggest Drew McIntyre fan. Like I always appreciated his talent, but I, like most people, said there's a lot of talent that's being wasted. And if with what he's done since he got released or asked for his release, since he left WWE, with what he's done in like just everywhere.
Impact.
Yeah, he was at Impact for quite a while. He was WCPW for a while. He popped up all kinds of other places on the indie scene. He's put in some really good work. YouTube his matches if you haven't yet. Him coming to WWE, if they bring him up to the main roster right away, which I don't think they will because they name dropped him in NXT, which means that I think he's coming to NXT, which is the best thing for him because he's automatically the third guy on that roster, assuming Shinsuke's still there.
Right.
Really, really, really happy he was there.
And the fear is if they do NXT, they won't do this. But I mean, you could even watch your McIntyre matches back in 2011 when he was IC champion. He showed he was good. It's just then 3MB.
Well, his character was kind of bland. It was kind of during WWE has this habit of you're not American, you're a heel, and your gimmick is I'm not from America, I'm a heel. So I mean, it works for guys like Rusev, and of course Rusev had Lana. And that helped with the personality thing, but they always, Jinder Mahal, automatic heel, that kind of thing. But if they bring him back and they actually let him show the kind of personality stuff he was doing since he left, then you've got your next big NXT name as far as the title picture. And then speaking of which, they unveiled new belts. I like them.
They're decent, and I do like what they did with the women's and the men's. It's basically identical, but the women's belt is smaller, like it used to be back with the women's title, and then they have the men's belt being full size. It's cool because they got rid of the big NXT, and now it's a circle that says NXT, and it has diamonds on the X, so it's cool looking.
The rumor out there is that they decided to change belts because there was a certain leaked video with certain NXT stars at the time that featured a certain piece of championship hardware in the background of said video. And they're like, yeah, we need a new women's belt. You know what? Just make new ones. That happened really quick, which I think may have been part of the reason why the women's championship and the men's championship looked the same, only different sizes, because they're like, we really need to get this done by WrestleMania weekend. So, I mean, they may have already been planning on it, but that's kind of the internet rumor that's been floating around. I mean, I'm not citing any sources because I've heard it from a whole bunch of different ones.
And random Twitter fans.
Yeah, and random Twitter people. But it makes sense. So I mean, and I'm okay if that's the reason they switched the belts up, because I could see not wanting that belt associated with that controversy anymore. Yeah. That brings us to the main event, which is Bobby Roode defending the NXT Championship against Shinsuke Nakamura in what I thought was probably the most disappointing match of the night, in that, God, it was slow. Especially the first half of the match was slow. I mean, I liked early on where you had Roode kind of made a play for the knee, and Shinsuke's like, no.
And I did like the spot early on where Shinsuke did his mind games, where he put his head on the guy's, I guess, stomach, and that. And he, and Roode kind of had this, really look, and he just kind of smiled while he was doing it, and then Shinsuke did his come on thing, and Bobby Roode just basically told him no. And then he kicked him when he did his glorious thing, and then he finally got him to charge him. But I did like how Bobby Roode understood that Shinsuke's going to try mind games because that's Shinsuke, and he's going to get in your head early. But then there was other spots that were identical to San Antonio that bugged me.
Yeah, they basically rehashed the last takeover, but they kind of condensed it into the first half of the match.
Yeah.
And then once and because he was working the knee. Of course he's working the knee. I do like the fact that, he created a weakness in the last match. He exploited the weakness in the follow-up. He continued because he knew that was how he was going to win. Because the one thing that Shinsuke does is the Kinshasa. How do you counteract that? You make it so that the Kinshasa is on one foot, which is not possible to do. So, Shinsuke got some of his spots in. He kept setting up for the Kinshasa. He hit the little mini Kinshasa on the ground. But it was... You knew Bobby Roode was going to keep the belt because you of anybody who's WrestleMania's right around the corner, that first Raw, you almost always have an NXT guy, and I don't think it's going to be the dude from Sanity who's in the. It's not going to be.
Killian Dane's going to come up. Yeah.
No. The word is Shinsuke's coming up. We've been kind of talking. Shinsuke's been coming up for a while, just amongst our little group, amongst the board. That now's the time to bring him up. You've got Bobby Roode. You've got an established heel who. One thing. Speaking of Bobby Roode being a heel and being a veteran, Bobby Roode's been wrestling since '98. So he's coming up on 20 years in the business, and so he really shows in the last two matches against Shinsuke that he is a ring veteran. He knows what he's doing, and they show that, and I like that. That's part of the story. Shinsuke. Being a bit of a risk taker and Bobby Roode making him pay for mistakes is kind of like, I like the fact that they tell that story that way. And the last 5 minutes of the match was exciting. I enjoyed it. I just wish the first 10 minutes of the match or whatever was more exciting. Because you had the bit in the beginning, which is kind of the way all of Shinsuke's matches go, where you get the and then the other guy does his thing, and then he goes and then the other guy goes grr, and then blah. And then basically once Shinsuke kind of started to get back on top and started working on Bobby Roode's arm, which was he's like, okay, you got a weakness in me, I'm going to create one in you. Once that was kind of neat, but it just felt like a drawn out rehash with a modified ending, because I did like the Tornado Glorious DDT. Yeah. That was kind of cool because it was at least different.
I do like how they didn't try to do Shinsuke never hit the Kinshasa. He did that little mini Shining Wizard type thing that he does if he can't set it up, they're set up wrong. But he never officially hit his finisher, which I do like. So they're kind of still protecting it, because if you look at the matches, I think the only one that's ever taken two is Joe.
Joe.
And he didn't even go for the pin. He just hit him with it, and then Joe kind of started stirring still, so he set up another one.
Right.
So I kind of dig how they're protecting it. Which I do like protected finishers. If you look, the Eclipse is still protected, and I can dig that.
The both of the singles championship matches kind of mirrored each other. You had the defending champ who was doing whatever they could to avoid the finisher of the challenger.
Right.
But it was not a great match. I think this may be the first year or the first pay-per-view in a while where the NXT event did not overshadow the WWE event. Overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good night, but it was like I said, the first time in a while that they didn't overshadow the big show, not the wrestler at the event, the ultimate thrill ride. So tomorrow, at some point, we're going to do our WrestleMania recap. hopefully we'll get it up soon. That was going to be the original official first video that we uploaded, but we kind of just got together and said, we need to do it. We need to do a takeover one. So hopefully we're going to get that video up tomorrow. We've also got posted a few photos because Golden Boy's down at WrestleMania. He went to Access. He went to Takeover. He's also at WrestleMania. So hopefully we'll get some vloggy type video from him. I asked him to. Doesn't mean he's going to do it. He doesn't always listen. Ever. So hopefully we'll get Golden Boy's stuff up soon, and we're going to be doing our recap. So I've been Big Papa Grump.
And I'm Junior.
And we've been the Board of Doom, and we'll see you next time.